from our family always went quite frequently to North Carolina, and so this time we went.
Oh.
But somebody was always going back there.
And what part of it was Shelby, North Carolina?
No, Mount Airy, and it's up in Surrey County. It's up by the Virginia line.
Okay.
It's the northern part of North Carolina. I have this two-door sedan, and my dad decided that we would go to North Carolina. So it was Marvin and Leonard and I, and my folks, and my grandmother. I was in the 3rd grade, so some of it's kind of a lot. He would be in 2nd grade, and Leonard, I don't know if he was in school yet. My grandmother thought we acted up a lot, and one time she was going to show us how we acted up, and she kicked in her feet around and hit around with her hands, and somebody was in another car behind us, and they were just laughing and laughing. Well, we stayed in motels, which weren't like motels now, because they didn't have bathrooms, and they didn't have covers for the bed. We had to take it, and then when we got to the motel, we put the covers on the bed, and my grandmother and I slept in one bed, and my parents in another bed, and Marvin and Leonard on the floor. Well, we had to go out to the bathrooms, and then when we got ready to go in the morning, we'd pick up our blankets and put them in the car. So my dad drove about 37 miles an hour. And first stop was Denver, which we had relatives in Denver, so we stopped there and stayed with them for a day or two. And then we went on again until Kansas. And we got to have one bottle of pop every day. We never had pop at home, so we were always looking forward to that. And we usually had enough food in the car that we would just eat in the car. Maybe once in a while we would eat in the restroom, but not all the time. We just have food with us, so we just sort of stop along the road and eat. It was kind of the cheapest we could get. That's the way everybody traveled in those days. One thing I remember about in Kansas, they all had barrels where the rainwater ran into the barrels, and that's where they got their water to drink, because it was really dry. And we had relatives in Kansas. We visited with them, stayed there for a while. And then we went to Iowa, and we had relatives in Iowa, Uncle Bob, so we stayed there with them, and then they went with us in their car to North Carolina. And I think my dad drove 37 miles an hour. We could count the fence post. North Carolina, we saw their tobacco houses and all the relatives, and we even went to the Atlantic Ocean and for the day, and all of us got such bad sunburns that we could peel the skin right off our backs. Leonard, he had a bad time. He was running this push lawnmower, and he cut his finger off. And in those days, I thought it was really something, because the doctor sewed it back on, and he never had any more trouble with it all the rest of his life. And I thought that was pretty good for 1937. Just that they had the tobacco hanging in the sheds in North Carolina. And I can see why all the people from there smoked, because they raced it. And all the women had little snuff packs on their belt, and they just keep chewing snuff during the day. But by then we came home, we came by Texas and to California. We drove, we didn't know anybody from North Carolina to California, but when we got to California, we had my mother's uncle. So we visited them, and then we drove up the coast to Portland, and then we drove home. Oh, okay. It was bad.